Tonight, infected from birth.
The energy that should be used to help their developing brains is instead being used to keep mom alive.
The risks facing pregnant women and newborns after Manitoba reports 2 cases of congenital measles. Also tonight, following the money trail.
I would call that a misrepresentation of a financial nature.
What a forensic accountant says they found after poring over years' worth of transactions related to the police headquarters construction project. Plus, a first in Canada.
Today is an excellent day to be a woman worker in Manitoba.
How soon you can expect to see free menstrual products in Manitoba workplaces.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. For the first time ever, Manitoba has seen measles cases climb into triple-digit figures over just 1 month. That month was February, where 170 cases were recorded. And it's not the only concerning milestone being recorded. To explain, CTV's Harrison Shin joins us now live. Harrison, expectant mothers and babies in this province are also now finding themselves infected with this virus.
No, that's right, Marilee. We've now seen 2 cases of congenital measles in Manitoba. Now, this is when a mother passes measles onto her newborn, which can lead to serious complications, even death. This, as the tally of the virus in just the first 2 months of this year has climbed to 248, and that is a big number considering in all of last year we only recorded 319 cases. Manitoba is just 71 cases away from topping the entire 2025 number for confirmed measles cases.
Now we have had quite significant transmission over the past year here in Manitoba.
Dr. Santina Lee is a medical officer of health with the province.
In the last couple of weeks, we are continuing to see some other transmissions, some of them related to, second generation of cases, and some that aren't necessarily tied back to that event that occurred at the end of January.
One of those exposures was a possible super spreader event at Ag Days in Brandon. Lee says we are now outside of the time period where new cases can be tied to that event. As of February 28th, there are 248 confirmed cases and 36 probable cases since the start of 2026. Last year's total was 29 probable cases and 319 confirmed cases. Don Bowdish, immunology professor at McMaster University, says Canada already had 2 infant deaths due to congenital measles. In Manitoba, there have been 2 cases of congenital measles and 12 in pregnant individuals since February 2025. Even if the baby survived the disease,
The science shows us that very few of those babies reach their full intellectual potential because a baby's brain needs to be focused on growing and developing, not fighting a deadly infection.
Doctors Manitoba President Dr. Nichelle Desilets says Manitoba's healthcare workers are taking precautions, but she says many are women of childbearing age, so the worry is still there.
We know that measles is of a particular concern when it comes to exposure during pregnancy. So I am hearing from people that they're, concerned about what patient assignments they get when they go to work.
Now, just for context on how measles is exploding, Manitoba only had 18 recorded cases from January 2000 to December 2024. Manitoba is #1 for measles cases in Canada, which lost its measles-free status in November 2025.
Harrison, how can people protect themselves?
Well, first and foremost, check your immunization record and consult with your healthcare provider. Desilets says if you are thinking of having a child or already in early stages of pregnancy, it is a good idea to chat with family members to ensure that the whole family is protected against measles. And now, children aged 6 to 12 months can get a total of 3 dosages of vaccines if they live in Southern Health, Interlake Eastern, or Prairie Mountain Health regions. All other children 12 months or older are eligible to get 2 doses.
All right, thanks for this, Harrison. One person is dead following a 2-vehicle crash on the eastern outskirts of Winnipeg. It happened shortly before 8 a.m. near the intersection of Fermor Avenue and the Perimeter Highway. Police say the 2 vehicles were traveling eastbound on Fermor at the time. One person suffered minor injuries while another person in the other vehicle died. Police have not released the names or ages of those involved. Investigators are still trying to piece together what exactly happened. Meantime, a devastating crash near the town of Roland claimed the lives of 2 men from Winkler Friday. This one happened on Road 428, about 6 kilometers south of Roland. Mounties say 2 trucks were stopped on the side of the road to help a man whose car was stuck in the ditch. And according to police, a 17-year-old girl driving southbound didn't realize those trucks were stopped until the very last minute. She swerved into the ditch and ended up hitting that stuck vehicle. The 44-year-old man inside of it, along with a 73-year-old man who stopped to help, were both killed. The girl and her passenger, another 17-year-old girl, were taken to hospital as a precaution. The investigation continues. Excess claims of up to $50 million may have been filed for the police headquarters building. A fraud investigator at the inquiry looking into the project outlined a number of concerns he found with invoices, including inflated amounts. CTV's Jeff Keel now on why Caspian's lawyer called for a halt to that expert's testimony.
A forensic accountant estimates excess claims for the police HQ project in Winnipeg went as high as $50 million.
So I describe inflated amounts.
Victor Neufeld is testifying at Phase 2 of the inquiry, dubbed the Money Trail. The inquiry is examining the purchase and renovation of the former Canada Post building. The city awarded the construction contract to Caspian. Neufeld said in his opinion, excess claims by Caspian made to the city ranged between $45 and $50 million.
I describe all of these concerns as multiple material financial misrepresentations.
Those concerns were related to invoices. Neufeld says he found inflated amounts, unpaid amounts for subtrade claims, and there were non-project costs included in some of the claims.
Ultimately, I say that the concerns appear to have had the effect that Caspian's project costs were reported to the city at amounts that were higher than they actually were.
In 2014, RCMP raided Caspian Construction as part of an investigation. In court documents, Mounties alleged the city was the victim of a multi-million-dollar fraud. No criminal charges were filed. The city also sued Caspian and settled for up to $28 million. Neufeld was hired by the city to examine Caspian's financial interactions with the city. Caspian's lawyer wanted the inquiry halted so he could cross-examine Neufeld on his qualifications.
This witness has been giving all sorts of evidence that is hearsay evidence. You have not ruled that he is entitled to do so.
His request was denied.
I believe this to be a fair process and fair to the parties. And I also believe it to be in accordance with the law.
Neufeld testified he spent more than 7 years and 4,000 hours on this file. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Manitoba will soon be the first province to require employers to provide free menstrual products in workplaces. The provincial government says the change is coming through amendments to the workplace safety and health regulation. The requirement goes into effect in early August, and the Workplace Safety and Health Branch will enforce compliance through existing workplace inspections. The free menstrual products will be available to employees in bathrooms or other accessible locations.
At the end of the day, this is about dignity and equity at work, and making sure Manitoba workplaces reflect the realities of the people who work in them.
Leaving out menstrual products discriminates against women and anyone who menstruates. It's never been fair, and this change is going to guarantee gender equity in the workplace. It's going to improve health and safety, and at a time when lots of workers are struggling to pay their bills, it's going to relieve women and other gender diverse folks from an extra cost and a lot of hassle.
The Workplace Safety and Health Branch will enforce compliance through its existing workplace inspections. All right, let's bring Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch forecast. And I might have been yawning a little bit this morning, but I tell you, when I look outside and see that sun shining, I think it's all worth it.
We were just talking about that a few minutes ago, how nice it is to have it a little lighter later, sure. Weather-wise, it's been an interesting 24 hours, Marilee. Starting about 24 hours ago, we first had freezing rain over Winnipeg, then we had ice pellets, we had snow late last night into early this morning, we had clouds this morning, and then eventually even a little bit more light snow that eventually turned into sunshine this afternoon. So the sun has been shining all day long, or all afternoon long, here in Winnipeg and across much of the south. There will be more sunshine ahead this week, but there will also be more cold temperatures ahead, not just for the south, but particularly in northern Manitoba. I'll show you those coming up and where warnings are in effect tonight. But first, the CTV Live Eye. Let's take a look at that. It's brought to you, of course, by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Look at that beautiful sky, all those colors. It's minus 12. With the wind chill, though, it feels like minus 20, courtesy of those northwest winds at 18 kilometers an hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 71%.
Thanks, Colleen. RCMP say they've significantly impacted an interprovincial drug trafficking network that was targeting communities all across Manitoba. And it comes after an investigation that spanned multiple months. Joining me now to break down all the details is CTV's John Hendricks. So, John, what exactly did this investigation reveal?
Mayorly, RCMP say they conducted a 3-month investigation dubbed Project Deepwater, and it was looking into high-level drug trafficking occurring within the province. Mounties say large amounts of cocaine and other drugs were brought in from different jurisdictions across the country. And they say this is the first time in Manitoba they've seen heroin mixed with a highly potent tranquilizer that's only approved for veterinary use.
We put this alert out and this release because we were concerned about the heroin being mixed with metatomidine. That's our concern. Our concern is that people on the street are going to be using these drugs that are being disguised as legitimate drugs or prescription drugs, and our concern is that somebody's going to overdose and die.
RCMP say search warrants were executed at 2 homes in Winnipeg's Amber Gates neighborhood in early February as part of the investigation. Inside those homes, Mounties say approximately 7,000 counterfeit pills were found, disguised as over-the-counter painkiller medication. However, lab tests revealed they were a mix of heroin and a potent veterinary sedative. RCMP also seized 9 kilograms of cocaine and 4 kilograms of illicit marijuana from within the homes. Altogether, Mounties seized over $1.5 million in drugs and cash as part of Project Deepwater. A 35-year-old man from Winnipeg who was known to police has been arrested. He's facing 2 counts of possession for the purpose of trafficking and possession of proceeds of crime over $5,000. None of the charges have been proven in court, and the investigation remains ongoing.
John, what else do we know about this animal tranquilizer and its concern?
Mayorly, the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority's Mobile Public Health Service says the drug has been confirmed in Winnipeg's drug supply at what they're calling concerning concentrations. It says the drug can cause prolonged sedation for several hours and that standard opioid treatments such as naloxone are not effective.
All right, thanks for this, John. The province has tabled legislation it says will set the tone for how health services should be delivered.
The Patient Safety Charter is our way of making it very, very clear for patients what they can expect from the healthcare system, and also making it very clear for the healthcare system what patients need to receive in terms of services.
The act is something of a guiding document which sets expectations for patient care. This includes things like respect and dignity, timely access, and clear communication. It would also require health officials to post the statements to their websites or any physical location where health services are offered. And it would mandate each health authority or organization to designate a patient advocacy officer who patients can turn to ask questions or raise concerns. Health Minister Yusoma Asagawa says these roles have existed in some form in many health centers, but the new legislation lays out specifically how they should operate.
It was really important for us to bring forward legislation that clarified what patients' expectations can look like when it comes to these rules. A patient advocacy officer, the title alone is much clearer, and also it's going to ensure that patients know exactly who to go to and who is accountable when they have concerns that are being brought forward.
Asagawa says the government will be following up with more legislation in the coming days and weeks that build on this bill. A former RCMP officer is encouraging veterans who need assistance to stay persistent when applying for coverage through Veterans Affairs Canada. It comes after Winnipegger Lance Rayner's disability benefit for an on-duty incident was denied multiple times before finally being approved late last year. Rayner says the incident dates all the way back to January 1978 when he was stationed in the Northwest Territories. He says a radioactive Soviet satellite crashed nearby and he was instructed to guard it to ensure the Russians couldn't retrieve the pieces. However, in the process, he says he was exposed to radiation, which he now links to a 2022 cancer diagnosis.
And because we were on this site, we had Army rations, but no potable water in the middle of the Arctic. Everything would have froze. So we were literally gathering snow and melting it. Unbeknownst to us, we never thought of it. There was radioactive dust particles on that snow that we were ingesting.
Rayner says he submitted a disability benefit to Veterans Affairs Canada in 2022, which was denied. However, he says after multiple appeals, his application was approved and he received acknowledgement his cancer diagnosis was in fact work-related. CTV News has reached out to the Veterans Review and Appeals Board for comment. We are still awaiting a response. A business in Steinbach is warning others to be vigilant tonight after it says a customer tried to pass off a phony $20 bill.
As you can see, there's no hologram right here. It says prop money right on it.
Lounge manager Charles Tyson from the France Inn says he's encountered quite a few counterfeit bills in his career, but this one, he says, was one of the more obvious ones. He says a customer handed it to one of the servers who noticed it right away was a fake. When the customer was confronted over it, Tyson says they simply walked out.
Just be aware, make sure that your staff is well trained, and know that this stuff is out there and it happens, especially in the lower denominations. There are a lot of places that don't take 100s and 50s for that reason, because they know that it's counterfeit and they take a larger hit on it when they do take them in.
Tyson says in his experience, counterfeit toonies are actually much more common. You can recognize them by the so-called camel toe on the front paw of the polar bear. This comes after several reports of phony bills circulating last year, including an almost identical counterfeit 20 someone tried to use at Winnipeg's Four Crowns restaurant and bar, and fake $100 bills circulating in Winnipeg and Neepawa. RCMP say they are aware of online marketplaces selling counterfeit currency, but couldn't confirm whether there is a connection to the increase happening in our province. Mounties say you should report every time you suspect you've been handed a fake bill. The city is spending $375,000 to upgrade Glenwood Community Center.
The work's to be done this summer, and look forward to the ice going back in next fall and having this facility, which you can see behind me, back in working order.
The money is coming from the city's Arena Maintenance Fund as well as the Community Center Renovation Grant. The center's rink dates all the way back to 1970 and is in need of some upgrades. The funding will see the control system replaced, a new dehumidifier installed, shelves and benches added to dressing rooms, as well as new player boxes at ice level. Since 2013, more than $1 million has been spent to upgrade the community center. Still to come tonight, war in the Middle East is rattling global oil markets, sending crude prices soaring.
The longer this occurs, the more difficult it becomes for global oil markets.
How the world is reacting as the price of crude oil peaks at a 4-year high, and what it means for your bills in the short term. That's coming up next. Rent prices in Canada fell year over year for the 17th straight month in February. However, that was not the case here in Manitoba. Nationwide, rent prices dropped 2.8% to just over $2,000. But here in Manitoba, the average rent rose 2.3% to roughly $1,600. The report was filed by Rentals.ca and Urban Nation. Turning to the markets now, crude oil shot up to nearly $120 per barrel this morning before settling at $94.77. The Canadian dollar added 0.2 cents. Gold lost $55. The TSX rose 105 points. The Dow Jones gained 239 points, while the Nasdaq was up 308 points. 3 teenagers are facing charges after allegedly robbing a pizza delivery man at gunpoint. It happened Thursday night at an apartment complex in the 500 block of Victor Street. Police say the 26-year-old delivery man, who was asked to wait with a teenage girl, was approached by 2 16-year-old boys who demanded he hand over the pizza bag at gunpoint. Officers located the 3 teens later that night and charged them with armed robbery. The handgun was determined to be a CO2-propelled gun. Iran has selected a new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, the son of slain Ayatollah. But unlike his father, the new leader has largely maintained a low profile. There are very few videos and photos of the 56-year-old who is the second son of the former leader. He's never held office or even given public speeches or interviews. His selection won't come without controversy. It's been reported the late Ayatollah did not want his son to succeed him because the Islamic Revolution promised to end the hereditary transfer of power when it toppled the monarchy in 1979. While expected to hold his father's hard line, the new leader is just a mid-ranking cleric, whereas the title of Ayatollah suggests a very high scholarly level. Israel is already vowing to kill the new leader. G7 nations won't be releasing emergency oil reserves just yet, despite the huge disruption to the global oil supply. Gas prices are spiking, and world economies, including this country's, are at risk. The price of crude briefly hit a 4-year high, but has fallen sharply and is now below $90 a barrel. With the latest, here's CTV's John Vinnavalli-Rao.
With pump prices well north of $1.50 in Toronto, drivers are feeling the wartime pinch.
$1.55. It's a little bit scary.
Yes, it is hard. Concern only so much we can do from here, right?
And many wondering what happens next. Are you worried about it going higher?
Oh, absolutely. Like the world going on like this.
Following dramatic scenes over the weekend, including attacks on oil infrastructure in Iran and the Gulf states. Overnight Sunday, the price for a barrel of Brent crude jumped almost 30% to just under $120 US per barrel, before falling back to around $100 this morning. In response, North American stock markets opened lower, an initial sea of red, with traders fearing a lengthy supply disruption.
The longer this occurs, the more difficult it becomes for global oil markets.
The near shutdown of the vital Strait of Hormuz continues to worry traders, and major suppliers like Kuwait, Iraq, and the UAE have begun to cut production, unable to move oil, with one well-known price forecaster thinking gas prices could go up another 8 cents by midweek.
And every other day after that, probably 2 to 4 cents a liter until we get right to next Sunday.
Meanwhile, G7 nations have for now decided against releasing emergency oil reserves to ease supply concerns. After a meeting of G7 finance ministers, they wrote, "We will continue to monitor the situation," adding, "We stand ready to take necessary measures, including stockpile release." While as a major producer, Canada does benefit from higher oil prices, they can also lead to higher food and air travel costs, stoking inflation. Meanwhile, gas price expert Dan McTagg says if oil prices were to hit $140 US, he thinks the price at the pump could jump 40 cents or more. John Vinnavalli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Police are investigating a series of shootings at synagogues in the Greater Toronto area.
Over the last 2 years, our Jewish community has been subject to increasing incidents of hate, intimidation, harassment, and violence.
Over the weekend, 2 synagogues were targeted, one in Toronto, another in Thornhill. This was the third in 5 days a synagogue has been targeted.
I would love to say that we are completely surprised and taken aback, but the truth is there's been so much hate sort of festering in this city for the last couple of years, and it's been left unchecked. And so it's a horrific time. I think we're all shaken. We're resilient, but we're completely shaken. But we absolutely need to treat this as a threshold that's now been crossed. Like, we need to act, and we need others to act.
One of the synagogues that was shot at this weekend was a synagogue where my wife and I were married about 26 years ago. I remember sitting on the front steps where the bullets went through for a pose for our picture right after we stood under the canopy together. Why do I mention that? Because this week, my daughter's going to be getting married in that exact same synagogue. She probably won't sit on those steps taking that same picture.
Police are still trying to determine if the weekend shootings are connected. A harrowing ordeal on Georgian Bay yesterday. 23 people were rescued by police and helicopters after a massive piece of ice broke away from the shoreline. Check this out. All of those rescued had been ice fishing near Owen Sound when the ice broke away and floated 2 kilometers out into the open water. A local resident who watched it all happen tells us the ice ended up breaking into 2 pieces, leaving some of those involved trapped in the water.
I did speak to 2 young fellows that were very surprised when the ice shelf broke off and they ended up stranded out there. They were pretty happy to be heading back to Kitchener to their homes.
Some of those rescued were treated for hypothermia. All involved are expected to make full recoveries.
I feel very honored, very blessed to be able to go and represent Canada on the world stage.
The Heartbreak Kid, no more. Coming up, we'll hear from Manitoba's Matt Dunstone after his big win at the Canadian Men's Curling Championship.
Temperatures will bounce around a fair bit over the course of the week. Take a look at the long range. Now, the normal high for this time of year for Winnipeg is closer to -3 degrees. -6, a little off the mark Wednesday. -13 is the normal low for this time of year. By Thursday, we swing back up to 0. It comes with a low chance of either showers or flurries. Increasing clouds into Friday afternoon, -7, so cooler by comparison. The weekend, Saturday, more cloud than sun, -8 degrees with a chance of flurries, albeit a low one. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, -11 for a high, but pretty cold. Weekend lows, too. You can see as cold as -22 Sunday night.
Winnipeg skip Matt Dunstone is the new Montana's Brier champion.
Go away, and there they go, and he is the heartbreak kid no more. Matt Dunstone wins the Montana's Brier.
Dunstone captured the title with a 6-3 win over 4-time champion Alberta's Kevin Cooey in the final. The victory sends Dunstone to the World Men's Curling Championship, which begins March 27th in Utah, where he'll represent Canada. Now, this was Dunstone's 3rd final in 4 years after losses in 2025 and 2023.
There's been a lot of heartbreak, over this quadrennial, losing 2 of these prior to in the trials. Very special moment for this group. We put a lot of work into what we do, obviously, and again, I said it earlier, this moment feels way more incredible than I ever would have imagined that it did.
Another Manitoba rink will also wear the maple leaf this month. Carrie Ainerson's Manitoba-based team is heading to the World Women's Curling Championships, which get underway Saturday in Calgary after Ainerson won her 5th Scotties Tournament of Hearts last month.
You're not used to seeing either of these.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. And those roads were slick this morning thanks to that snow and freezing rain we saw.
Yes, as I mentioned off the top of the show, we had quite a range of precipitation types over a few hours, starting about 24 hours ago. Different scenario this afternoon, though, with the sunshine, and not much changes. We'll have a few of these clouds you see here over southern Manitoba tonight here in Winnipeg, a few clouds at most. Up in the north, as cool as it was here in the south, it is bitterly cold in the north. Once again, an Arctic air mass has locked onto the region, so we do have cold warnings in effect for the most northerly parts of the province. Brochet to Dooley Lake and Churchill regions. Wind chill values overnight into Tuesday morning could push -45, -50, and some pretty cold air temperatures expected overnight as well, especially around Churchill. Over in northwestern Ontario, a little bit of light snow continues to fall early this Monday evening around Dryden. As I mentioned earlier, it's pretty inactive weather for the most part this week. You can see that some substantial snow stays well south of the international border. Meanwhile, this narrow band of snow will weave its way across the south tomorrow, more likely to bring a little bit of light snow or flurries to places like Dauphin than to Winnipeg, but we can't rule it out entirely as we get into the afternoon. You see, it takes that swing through, but there's not much to it, and by the time it gets this far east, it breaks down almost entirely. And as we get into tomorrow night, it pretty much not much is happening. Under the influence of high pressure spilling out of the Northwest Territories into northern Manitoba, so that will continue well throughout the day tomorrow. Into Wednesday we go again. This is what pops up, on again, off again, light snow or flurries, but again, not anything of much substance and not over a particularly sweeping area. For tonight, no snow here in the city, a few clouds down to -19 degrees, so well below normal for this time of year. Light winds out of the south at 10 kilometers an hour. -18 degrees for the commute. We could even see the coldest temperatures come through at 7 or maybe even 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Still light winds out of the south. We head to a high in the afternoon of -4 degrees, so that's much closer to normal. Winds pick up slightly out of the south at about 20 kilometers an hour. Speaking of those bitterly cold air temperatures, Churchill set to drop to -37 degrees. That's before you factor in wind chill. A few clouds there, clear and cold in Gillam. Island Lake -26, Thompson rather, down to -29, and then tomorrow a high of -26 degrees. Churchill sunny, but with a high of just -27 degrees. Lynn Lake tonight dropping to -29, just a few clouds. clouds. A few light flurries through Flin Flon and the Paw, -20 in both of those communities. Light snow tomorrow for Norway House, up to -9. In the southwest tonight, cloudy for Swan River, Churchill. I'm still thinking about those cold temperatures. Swan River down to -21. That's pretty cold for Swan River for this time of year. Look at these lows, -21 for Dauphin, Neepawa, Brandon, -18. A few clouds there. Good chance of a little bit of that snow sweeping through Dauphin on the way to -3. Brandon also -3, a mix of sun and cloud with a lesser chance of light snow. Winnipeg in the southeast, a little bit more cloud to the south of the city, closer to the border, -13 degrees in those communities, but quite a big drop off in Winnipeg with clearer skies come colder lows, -19. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow, daytime highs below freezing, but not much. And in northwestern Ontario, varying amounts of cloud, -13 overnight in Kenora, and then you see temperatures getting right to freezing or staying just below it in Dryden under a mix of sun and cloud. Our first weather photo takes us out to beautiful Brooksells, Manitoba. That wintry photo is from Leone. Very nice. And this next one's very nice too. This is the sun setting over God's Lake Narrows. That photo is from Sheila. You can email us yours to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. In celebration of International Women's Day, the Winnipeg Women's Show returned this weekend, giving women businesses a platform to shine. Inside the convention center, speakers, performers, and vendors put a spotlight on products and services created for women. Entrepreneurs filled the space with cosmetics, wellness items, and home design ideas, all built around supporting women's success. The show's owner, Dolores Thiessen, says women entrepreneurs have a harder time getting loans to start their businesses compared to men, and that's why she created the event to highlight their work. Thiessen adds the show fills a gap in the trade show scene.
There's plenty of trade shows that are geared towards men, like you've got the RV show and the boat show and the renovation show, and they're geared more towards men. This is the only trade show besides maybe the wedding show that is geared directly towards for women.
Among the entrepreneurs was Saskatoon's Chanel Chalazan, a 16-year-old owner of chic and charmed boutique. Chalazan says she hopes she can encourage other young women to pursue their own business ideas.
It was a particularly difficult respiratory virus season.
This year's flu season is winding down, but it's had quite an impact, particularly in Alberta. That story next in Medical Watch. Meta is in hot water over its AI-powered smart glasses. According to an investigation by a Swedish newspaper, contractors reviewing AI data in Kenya may have seen highly personal footage captured by the glasses. We're talking about bathroom visits, intimate moments, even credit card information. Those allegations have already sparked legal action and renewed the debate over how AI systems are trained. And joining me now to talk about all of that is Ritesh Kotek, a tech and cybersecurity analyst. Ritesh, good to speak with you.
Thank you for having me.
First, can you explain how this happens? Because in advertising, Meta uses phrases like designed for privacy and controlled by you. So what are these everyday examples of how unexpected recordings can happen?
So it's not so much around the unexpected recordings. It's once the recordings actually do occur, and it's essentially when you're wearing those glasses, you'll see the LED on the side. If that's on, then it's essentially recording. Now, when these recordings are stored, you have the option of, when you set up the device, whether you want to improve the product experience or share information with third parties. Now, it's in the terms and conditions as you're going through and setting up your account. And this is why I encourage people to read it, because most people just scroll down to the bottom, hit I agree, and you don't really know what you're agreeing to. And what you're agreeing to is any of the recordings that are stored in the cloud can essentially be sent to a third party for advertising, for analysis, to improve the product, and that could be anywhere in the world, and that's how this is happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of people assume AI systems learn entirely on their own. How common is for humans to be involved in this training?
Very common. And in fact, a lot of people do believe that there's AI is training AI. That's not actually the case. It is human beings that are training the algorithm. And every time that there is an issue or some sort of transcription, or you report something that's wrong with the result, there's human beings that actually review it to see what went wrong, and B, is it getting it right, hoping that the next time that the algorithm comes across this particular data input and has to make a similar process, that the output is exactly what the user wanted. So there is literally armies of people that are looking at the data, making sure that it's correct, and are training these algorithms.
I've even heard somebody say that, you know, when we have to click the hydrants or the light posts, we are training AI. Is that right?
We are training AI with just about everything that we're doing, and that's literally the way that this works. In fact, the best line that I heard is the worst and the best artificial intelligence AI that you're ever going to use is at this very moment. It is moving at an exponential pace, and one of the big reasons for it is there's so many inputs, and one of those inputs is us as individuals, what we're doing on the device, how we're training it, whether we're saying that a output is correct or incorrect, is literally training and allowing these organizations to then take that data and monetize it by making the algorithm better.
Okay, I know you had been predicting 2026 to be a big breakout year for wearables like Meta smart glasses. How big of a blow do you think the news of all this will be to sales?
I actually don't think that it's going to be that big of a blow. I think what it's going to do is we are seeing that more and more people are buying these glasses. I think 2026 is the year of the wearables. We're probably going to see other entrants in the market, but nothing like what Meta has been able to do with the smart glasses. Overall, I think that this is going to make people more conscious. They're going to go through and read those terms and conditions, maybe turn off the ability to share the information with third parties that Meta wants you to do. I think that's what's going to happen. But do I think this is going to stop someone from getting smart glasses when they really want smart glasses? I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I read 7 million of them sold last year alone. So they are out there. They're hard to spot. They look very similar to a regular pair of glasses. So what does privacy really mean in the age of AI?
I think what privacy really means is that you as a user are providing informed consent to the third party, to the vendor, to say, look, I need to know exactly what you're doing, exactly what you're sharing. And if you don't, you're going to be held accountable, whether it be in a hit in sales or some sort of litigation that may come out of it, or some regulatory body that would investigate it. I think that this is why it's really important for even vendors that are going to be selling to consumers to have what I call implemented the plain language doctrine. Make sure that people can actually read the terms and conditions, that it's not something that's in legalese that you need to be legally trained to understand. Make it very clear. Make it clear what's happening with their data, where who's seeing their data, and what they can do to better protect themselves. I think that is what privacy has to look like, and it needs to be built in from design in the year 2026 and above.
Well, we'll see what changes, if any, come from this. Ritesh, thanks so much for your insight into this. It was great speaking with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Prescriptions for ADHD medication among adults have doubled since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. A recent study published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal found more than half of adults in Ontario who got a new prescription were women, with the median age being 31 years old. The study's authors say the trend is likely influenced by greater awareness of adult ADHD and better access to care after years of underdiagnosis of the disorder in women. Flu season may be winding down, but its impact is still being felt across the country. Alberta has been hard hit with more than 250 deaths, the highest number in years. CTV's Kathy Lee has more on the nationwide spike.
Crowded hospital waiting rooms coast to coast as Canadians battle influenza. In Alberta, recent data shows 255 people have died from the virus, the deadliest flu season in recent years, a trend that has been increasing since the 2022-2023 cycle. One Alberta doctor on the front lines is not surprised by those numbers.
I was on call a lot over the last few months, and we had a constant stream of really significantly and sometimes critically ill and deathly ill people coming in with influenza.
The surge in people going to the hospital, like this one in Calgary, put added strain on the healthcare system with long waits inside the emergency room.
It was a particularly difficult respiratory virus season, and there was a mismatch in the vaccine that contributed to that difficulty.
A mismatch between the vaccine and the virus, low vaccination rates, and the strain itself, all contributing to more than 102,000 flu cases across Canada since late August.
Influenza has been a problem across the entire country, although rates right now nationally seem to be decreasing to around about 5%.
The rates may be falling, but Canadians aren't in the clear yet. The season highlighting the need for stronger vaccination efforts.
What the government needs to do is to take that seriously. Proper vaccine rollout, information, proper public health communication that goes to Albertans in terms of where to access their vaccines.
To help bring the number of cases down next season. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Two-time Juno Award winners, brothers Landreth, are getting ready to perform for the hometown crowd. When you can catch the show and which other local artist is joining them on stage, Spotlight is next.
Spotlight sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting High Valley.
A two-time Juno Award-winning band from Winnipeg is going out on tour across North America, and they're finishing it off with a hometown performance. Winnipeg's The Brothers Landreth, an alternative country folk group, announced the next leg of their Tumbling Wild tour. Joining the band is Winnipeg singer-songwriter Madeline Roger, who has earned praise across Canada and beyond. The group is set to perform at the Burton Cummings Theatre on November 21st. Tickets go on sale Wednesday morning at ticketmaster.ca. Pixar's latest film hopped its way to the top of the box office over the weekend.
Mabel, be careful! And they were in the same den.
Pixar's first original hit in nearly a decade leaped to the top of the box office with $46 million in its opening weekend. After a strong opening weekend, Scream 7 dropped to $17 million for second place, and the dark romance The Bride, starring Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale, opened far below expectations with only $7.3 million in ticket sales. Steve Carell has returned for his first television comedy since leaving The Office in 2011.
What can I do for you, Greg? I'm here to make sure that Katie's job is safe. She burned down the faculty house. It was an accident. She also assaulted a professor. I still love you. Ow! That was on purpose.
Carell plays Greg Russo, a successful author of Beach Reads, whose protagonist is named Rooster. When Greg's daughter, a college professor, finds herself in the middle of a humiliating breakup, he takes a job at the school to stay close to her. Show producers credit Carell for taking moments that weren't meant to be funny and adding comedic touches. The Rooster is streaming now on HBO Max. Your primetime lineup kicks off tonight with St. Denis Medical at 7. The Rise and Fall of Reggie Dinkins is at 7:30. Tracker comes next at 8, and The Rookie follows at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
It's called The Last Great Race on Earth for a reason. Still to come, we take you to Alaska and the start of the epic multi-day Iditarod sled dog race.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Well, it was cool this afternoon, but we actually hit our highest temperature overnight when it was -7. The normal high is -3 degrees. 1902, the record for this day. March 9th, we reached 10.0 degrees. Minus 19 tonight, so cool for this time of year. A few clouds. Minus 4 on Tuesday, mix of sun and cloud. Outside chance of some snow late in the afternoon. Clouding over Wednesday. Chance of showers or flurries on Thursday up to 0. Minus 7 Friday. A little cold again on the weekend.
Thanks, Colleen. Well, it was a canine takeover in downtown Anchorage Saturday for the ceremonial start of the Iditarod Trail sled dog race. The annual 1,000-mile race across Alaska pays homage to the state's mushing tradition and the old Iditarod Trail freight route. The ceremonial start is catered to fans who want to cheer on their favorite mushers, while the real race actually got underway Sunday in Willow, Alaska, which is about 75 miles north of Anchorage.
You know, I'm just cheering for everybody. I'm rooting for everybody. I want everybody to have a great race. I just want to beat them by 12 hours.
And for me, it's being part of the mushing family, seeing the commitment that is given to the dogs and the whole thing. So it's nice to be here. I'm pleased, proud, and humbled.
34 mushers will be testing themselves against Alaska's treacherous terrain and unpredictable weather for days until reaching Alaska's western coast, I should say. The winner is expected to cross the finish line sometime early next week. Hopefully we'll have an update for you on who takes top spot.
Yeah. Always an epic journey.
Yeah, unreal. Yeah. What they go through in the training that they do. Wish them all luck.
Yes, of course.
All right, that does it for us tonight. Have a great evening. See you back here tomorrow.